It's your boy Rodney Perry. I'm bringing you an evolutionary experience. Hey, it's game changer.
Hi, this is India with Designer Accessory Adoption. Thanks for watching this video and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, a special welcome to you. Thank you for clicking play. And if you are returning, thank you so much for watching a previous video and coming back for another one. Today's topic we'll be talking about, I had just forgot for a second, how to not get scammed when purchasing pre-owned. So this is going to be more so tactics that you can use to make sure you're protected, as well as to build up, to show proof in case things don't work out the way that you expect them to. So before I get started, I typically load videos every Wednesday covering topics related to fashion, luxury, contemporary brands, more so focus on the pre-owned consignment, that secondary market. But I also throw in some unboxings as well as product reviews and lifestyle topics as well. So if any of that is interest to you, please definitely consider subscribing as well as liking this video by giving me a thumbs up if you are enjoying the content. So let's go ahead and get started. Disclaimer, I'll look over here. I just have my notes on my laptop. I just want to make sure I stay on topic. So let's go. And so first tip is going to be, regardless of where you're buying that item from, consider purchasing it with a credit card. So I know some people may have a thought, well, people say don't buy items on credit and things like that. But first off, any online transactions that I do, I never use my bank card. I don't care whether I have the money in my bank account. I just don't want my bank account being used online. If somebody has access to those numbers, basically pull actual funds out, whereas with a credit card, you can at least dispute it and not pay it, and then you're not having to worry about paying up front or getting your money pulled out of your bank account and then having to get it back later. So it is a protection mechanism, has nothing to do with your funds. So I mean, pretty much if you pay with a credit card, you already have the funds in your bank account, just go pay your credit card bill with the amount that you just spent. Voila, you're done. You're not putting yourself in debt. So just want to get that out the way for all the literal people or the folks that might think, oh my gosh, I shouldn't. People say don't pay with a credit card or don't use credit. And I'm not diving into that. You do what you're going to do. You know your business. I'm not jumping into that piece. I'm just saying to protect yourself, it is helpful to pay with a credit card. Some credit cards have protections on them, extra protections. So that way, if there is something that is faulty with the item that you purchased or anything like that, it does make it easier for you to dispute or at least get your money back or put that on hold, that charge on hold, and you're not having to be fiscally responsible for it until the case has been closed. So that is an option for all of those reasons that I mentioned. Really boils down to security. It is more secure. I'd rather you take my credit card number than my bank card number. That's just me. If you think otherwise, do what's best for you, but definitely paying with a credit card is something I fully support and think it's best anytime you're purchasing something online, especially. Next up is going to be, make sure you're researching the item. That is the best way not to get scammed. And I'm not going to say that even if you do all of your research, you won't get scammed. There are some nifty, crafty people out there. I remember, want to say like Angelique Eva, I watched her channel before, and she pretty much talked about how there was an issue she had with a scammer. So I won't say any of these are foolproof, but they definitely will kind of help decrease your chances of being scammed. So definitely do your research. Make sure you know what you're purchasing. Make sure you ask questions. If a person is standoffish with you or not willing to give you more information, move on. There's a reason for that. Move on. I've had a person, I remember I was going to purchase a Mulberry Bayswater handbag from eBay, and there weren't any, to help me do some more authentication, I wanted certain photos. And that person, I reached out to them, and they basically told me no, they weren't going to post more photos. And if you're familiar with eBay, there's a way that you can like hit the little watch button so you can basically kind of keep it on your list, like your wish list per se, but it's called a watch list. And so when I noticed that they weren't very responsive, they weren't going to give me the videos, I was like, whatever, so I won't buy it from you. And I unwatched it. So I removed that item from the watch list, and then lo and behold, a couple of days later, I get a notification because I had watched the item before that they updated the listing. So things like that. But those are really telltale signs of either poor customer service or an item that's not real, especially if they're using stock photos, if they are taking photos that are really far away and you ask for those additional details. Definitely keep those in mind. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should do a video on things to look out for in your listing, so that way it gives you more detail and examples of what you should be looking for when you want to purchase pre-owned, so that way you don't get scammed, or will decrease the likelihood of you getting scammed. So pretty much got through that topic about researching the item and just making sure you're familiar. I cannot say this enough. Pay for an authentication service. There are also services, like I want to say Real Authentication or Authenticate First. I always get them confused. But one of them, you can actually send them the listing, and they'll look at it first and then let you know if you need more photos. That tells you go ask for more photos on certain things, so that way they can authenticate it from the listing for you. That way you don't have to worry about waiting till you get the item physically and then taking photos and sending them off. So it's kind of like an extra protection mechanism. Doesn't mean that you still don't need to get the physical item authenticated, but at least I think that kind of reduces the barrier or kind of the apprehension about buying something from a listing initially. So those are things to think about. But anyway, let me get on to my next topic, and that is going to be, I had already segued into it, which was pay for an authentication service. So I already said that, pay, set that extra money aside. I know you save up a little bit more. Depending on the item, that could be arranged from $20 to an extra $100 or so-ish, depending on what you're requesting to have that item authenticated. So just add that extra fee on there and make sure you know that it is real. Next up is going to be take a screenshot of the listing. I do this all the time. I source items for my store, my consignment store, through different areas like eBay and other online auctions and things like that. And I always will take a photograph of the listing, even if it's not for business purposes, but for personal use, and I buy items pre-owned. I will take a photograph of the listing or a screenshot of the listing with all of the details, so I have a record of what was listed in that, so then that way I can compare that to what I received. That helps you with that trail of evidence, so that way if something goes awry, you have your evidence piling up for support that you should get your money back, pretty much is what you're doing, is kind of protecting yourself. So definitely make sure that you keep a photograph of those listings and make sure you have a record of all your correspondence as well. So a lot of third-party marketplaces like eBay, Poshmark, Tradesy, Vestiaire Collective, all of those other ones that are out there, Mercari is another one. They require that you converse basically through their platform. I know that Tradesy, Poshmark, and eBay do. I have not sold anything on Vestiaire or Mercari, but I'm assuming they work the same way. You want to make sure you're keeping that communication within the platform that they require. Do not take your conversation through Gmail, Google. I have people doing that to me all the time, and they'll say, oh, I'm really interested in this item. I would like to hear more information about it. Here's my email. No. Communicate. If you took the time to communicate through the platform, finish up the conversation through the platform. As soon as you take that conversation outside the platform, you are no longer in protection of that third-party platform's basically you're not in protection of it, really. So once you break that rule, you're on your own. So make sure you're keeping that communication. It's all for protection. So make sure you keep it where it is. And that was not even going to be a point, but we'll throw that in there as a free one. Next up is going to be, after that, segue into the next pieces. You bought the item, you have cataloged the extra photos, you have taken screenshots of the listing, so you have a record of what you purchased. When that item arrives, make sure you comb through the listing and compare that to your actual item. In addition to that, you want to take your photos and send those off to get an authentication service to authenticate your item, or whether you do it through photo service, or you could even, some services, you pay extra for this, but you package the item up and physically send it off to the authenticator for them to authenticate. So depending on whatever service you pick, what company you pick, you want to make sure you're doing a comparison. Make sure you're looking at the description, comparing the photos to what you actually got. So if there's cornerware, you want to make sure that what you're seeing as cornerware is the cornerware. If there's an extra ink blot stain in the interior that's not photographed, that is not in the description, and you are unhappy with that item, that is cause for you to be able to send it back for a refund. So make sure you're paying attention to it. Now, I have received items that I kind of picked up on something that wasn't exactly described, and it was maybe like an extra mark somewhere, but if I could wash it out, I didn't worry about it. So it totally depends on you and kind of whether you want to keep it or not. But definitely make sure you're comparing it, all in all, to just make sure you're getting what you purchased and it's in the exact condition that that person described. So those are some tips to basically help you from not getting scammed. Definitely let me know what other tips you have or have used to make sure that you are reducing the likelihood of you getting scammed by purchasing pre-owned. I love to start a conversation around it. And I will see you in the comments down below. Definitely, if you are at this point of the video, you must have liked something. So definitely please like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching this video. I'll be back next Wednesday, as well as twice a month. I have been recording. Twice a month on Saturdays, I actually release a second video. So instead of it being 4 videos in a 4-week month, or 4 Wednesday month, I should say, then I also then release 2 other videos. So that's 6 videos a month that I generally release. All that to say, definitely subscribe and you'll get a notification and hit the notification bell, and you'll get a notification when I release a new video. That way you don't have to memorize it, but definitely check me out every Wednesday and every other Saturday. I don't really have a schedule whether I do that 2nd and 4th or whatever. It usually works out that way, but I haven't stuck to a specific schedule for the Saturdays that I post. So that's a lot of rambling. I will stop talking here. Thank you so much for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a good day. Talk to you again soon. Bye.